5 News This Morning starts now.
Well, thank you so much for watching 5 News This Morning Plus, streaming live on the 5 News Plus Smart TV app. I'm Joe Ellison.
And I'm Tiffany Lee. Coming up in today's newscast, Walmart is recalling shrimp because of radiation.
And more on the shipping containers that raised red flags in 4 U.S. ports after investigators found readings of a radioactive isotope.
And the West Nile virus has been reported in Arkansas. 5 News reporter Emily Moss will be live in studio to explain how best to protect yourself from this insect-borne disease. But first, a live look over Ozark this morning. Always such a beautiful shot, beautiful sunrise. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you're off to a great start. Danny, people waking up. It's a little cooler outside. Are they getting false hope, or is this here to stay?
Well, I was going to say, you probably walk out and you're like, what are you talking about? It's not a night and day difference.
Compared to yesterday.
But compared to yesterday, it's a little bit cooler. And I guess I should say the humidity will continue to drop, and we'll see even better relief next week.
Like
that.
that.
80s, so very nice. We'll talk more about that forecast here. Oh, it's going to do this thing again. Ah, I see. We're not using Cam 3 this time. Bye, guys. I was going to say, yeah, I'm just in my pageant mode. I'm on a Tiffany Lee flow. Anyway, right now we're seeing very nice conditions out there. We're seeing that blue sky, a little bit of thin cloud cover no matter where you are across the region. Temperatures, as you notice, we're in the low to mid 70s. So I'm going to be looking at this camera here. We're seeing temperatures in the low to mid 70s pretty much across the board, but it is still feeling a little bit muggy out there. So we also are seeing a little bit of fog as well. It's in some very isolated spots. We see down to 2-mile visibility in Fayetteville. Now this is on the south end of town at Drake Field. So in that area as well, it's a little bit more of a low-lying spot. Could be maybe seeing some fog there. We're also seeing it near the Greenland area, which is where Drake Field's located. Otherwise, a little bit in Siloam Springs as well, but most of the area is fog free. Right now on satellite and radar, you're noticing that we're seeing a few thin clouds out there that rain kind of along I-40 just east of the area. That'll continue to push off to the south. So once we really get through this morning, it'll be nice. It'll still be pretty warm though. As you're heading out to the bus stop, we'll see those temperatures as you saw in the 70s. Will still be muggy. Those dew points in the upper 60s and low 70s. By recess or lunchtime, temperatures will be right around 90, but in the River Valley could feel close to 100. And as you're heading home from either work or school, have that umbrella handy this morning. So as you walk out the door, keep it handy because we could see some pop-up storms. It's not going to be as widespread as it was yesterday, especially in northwest Arkansas. We saw quite a bit of rainfall. The River Valley, there's a little bit of a hole. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but especially in the Fort Smith area and along I-40, didn't see much of any rain at all, but that chance will return for us this afternoon. For northwest Arkansas in particular, again, those temperatures will be more in the low to mid 90s today. We'll feel closer to 100 for that peak heat index, but that storm chance does return, especially later this afternoon. I think about 3 o'clock to sunset is our peak timing for that. For the River Valley, temperature is a little bit warmer, mid to upper 90s, and again, that rain chance will return for us later this afternoon. Again, not everyone will see it. It'll be more isolated, but that chance is there for us. So overall, what are we expecting? Well, the heat advisory is in effect for the River Valley. Could see up to 108 for that heat index. It is going to be less humid starting tomorrow. We'll continue to see that humidity drop, and the 80s do return. And no, I'm not talking about the time frame, but maybe some of you would want it to return. But we are going to see the high temperatures return to the 80s and maybe even to upper 70s for some. So that relief is finally on the way in just a little bit. So we'll talk all about that here coming up in your full forecast. But now let's take a live look at traffic. We'll take a live look along I-49 at Greenland. We'll show you the fog. You can see it's a little bit dense. Now again, fog forms from the top down, so I think towards the surface, towards the road, it's fine. But if you're looking ahead into the distance, it could maybe cause some reduced visibility. So be mindful, especially if you're in the Greenland area or any low-lying areas. Could be seeing some of that fog. So just be careful as you're heading out the door. We'll have the complete forecast coming up in just a little bit. Joe and Tiffany.
All right, thanks for that, Danny. Well, in continuing coverage this morning, funeral services were held on Tuesday in Bakersfield, California for Clinton and Kristen Brink, the victims of the double homicide in Devil's Den. The service saw more than 200 people in attendance. It comes just days after a Springdale man was arrested in connection with the couple's deaths. Andrew McGann has been charged with 2 counts of capital murder and has pleaded not guilty. Authorities have not disclosed any possible motive for the crime, but the case is ongoing. To support the family of Clinton and Kristen Brink, the city of Prairie Grove is hosting a fundraiser on September 6th. It will feature live music and an auction. A GoFundMe has been organized by a relative and is helping cover expenses and provide for their daughters. As of today, it has raised over $90,000 from more than 1,300 donors.
And around Arkansas, President Trump is calling for an end to mail-in voting, but state leaders say Arkansas law currently protects the practice. Arkansas still offers absentee voting, but there are conditions. To qualify, you got to meet certain criteria, namely being unable to attend the polls due to illness or physical disability. Officials worry that the push to end mail-in voting could impact older voters.
That, to me, is really disenfranchising those folks who are older, our most vulnerable folks.
According to a recent law, if one marks unavoidably absent, a witness must confirm the ballot. Arkansas is among 15 states that have excuse-required mail-in ballot systems.
Well, Fayetteville City Council has unanimously passed the Bill of Rights for firefighters in this city. The mayor's sponsored Bill of Rights provides protections for discipline and promotions. The proposal comes from a state law which recommends municipalities establish a Bill of Rights for firefighters. Fayetteville Mayor Molly Ron says the passage serves as an example for others in the state.
I think it serves as a model for other cities, showing that you can do this and you can pass this legislation.
Officials say it's a first of its kind in the state of Arkansas. Well, new this morning, West Nile cases are ramping up across the country, with some reported here in Arkansas.
That's right. So we're getting a check of that this morning just to see how many cases and where they're coming from. 5 News reporter Emily Moss joining us in studio with the latest from Arkansas Public Health. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe and Tiffany. Right now, Arkansas Public Health Department is reporting 1 to 5 cases of West Nile. The state veterinarian tells me a few cases, though, were just reported last week. The mosquito-transmitted virus usually has its peak season around August and September every year. State vet Laura Rothfeld says a majority of people do not experience any symptoms when infected. Those who do have symptoms, they're usually mild and flu-like. Rothfeld says most people are also at risk during dawn and dusk every day.
Are not flying around during the heat of the day, and the type that transmit West Nile virus also aren't like middle of the night type mosquitoes either. So they're the ones that are really out there probably when you get home when you're trying to water the plants or do something real quick outside when it's a little bit cooler.
All right, so talking about this, I mean, our pets, because we worry about them a lot too, are they at danger?
Actually, no. Dr. Rothfeld says that most domesticated pets, they're not a danger for West Nile. They have figured out that horses and donkeys are, and it is fatal if a horse or donkey does get West Nile. But actual, like cats, dogs, birds even, apparently not at risk.
Wow, okay.
So is there anything that you can do to protect those donkey horses if you have those at home kind of from this disease?
So there actually is a vaccine for horses. Even though there's not one for humans, there's a vaccine for horses and donkeys, and the vets just recommend you get them because, again, if the mosquito does infect the horse, it's probably going to be fatal.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for that report, Emily. Appreciate it. Well, coming up after the break, we'll have more on the first nasal spray flu vaccine that you can take right at home, and now you can order it online. And in the Daily Brew this morning, we're going to talk about the Menendez brothers and their chance to be set free after more than 30 years behind bars.
And Cracker Barrel ditching its old-timey style for a more modern look. The latest on the social media storm from their rebrand. Live look out in Poto. Stay with us. We'll have more after this. Well, for the first time this flu season, many Americans will have the option to give themselves the flu vaccine. FluMist is now approved by the U.S. Drug and Food Administration for use at home. Mandy Gaither has more on how it works.
It's the only nasal spray flu vaccine in the U.S. FDA approved for use at home. FluMist Home can be self-administered by adults under 50 and can be given to children as young as 2.
It's delivered with cold packs in a cold chain shipping model, and actually one of the great steps is when you receive your dose, there's a temperature tag that gets scanned to ensure that it stayed in the right temperature throughout the entire shipping process and that it's safe and ready to use.
The vaccine nasal spray is now available for home delivery in 34 states. It can be ordered online after a brief medical screening questionnaire, which will be reviewed by a licensed healthcare provider before the vaccine is prescribed. It's covered by most commercial insurance companies with a fee of $8.99 for shipping and handling.
It's quite easy to administer. All they do is take it out of its packaging, put it into one nostril, spray the device, remove a clip from the middle, and then spray it into the other nostril.
Last flu season was unusually severe. Preliminary estimates from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention suggest that between October 2024 and May 2025, there were up to 82 million illnesses, 1.3 million hospitalizations, and 130,000 deaths from flu. At the same time, the CDC says less than half of kids and adults in the U.S. had gotten an annual flu vaccine.
Knowing that they can bring FluMist home right into their home and vaccinate on their schedule, the time they want, no waiting in line, makes it very manageable.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, the FDA says frozen raw shrimp sold at Walmart in several states, including Arkansas, could be contaminated with the radioactive isotope. The warning was issued regarding possible exposure detected in shipping containers and frozen shrimp products at 4 U.S. ports. Regulators collected samples confirming the presence of the radioactive component in one sample of breaded shrimp. Walmart confirmed the recall affects 12 other states as well. And a new soccer league is helping men kick bad habits for healthier lives. As CBS's Christian Benavides reports, this Florida Soccer League is a way to lose weight and gain community.
These soccer players in Cooper City, Florida, are keeping score in more ways than one. Goalkeeper Miguel La Rosa.
I always loved soccer. I just had to stop because I was too big.
At 420 pounds, La Rosa decided to begin his weight loss journey, which included a complete overhaul of his lifestyle.
Literally right after taking the photo, I was telling my friends, that's it. I had to stop.
A year ago, he found Man vs. Fat, a program new to the U.S. but 10 years running in the U.K. It's a league for men who want to shed some pounds. In order to join, you have to be considered overweight on a BMI chart. No experience on the field is required.
The main goal is the health.
Felipe Herman is the coach.
Those guys, they look at the program and they said, okay, maybe I can go there, participate in the community, play soccer, feel good about it, and nobody's going to judge me.
Scoring goals is just one way to add points. At the weekly weigh-in, players can also help their team if they're dropping weight.
For every 2 players who lose weight, an extra point is added to that team's score.
Players come up with a team name using a twist on actual soccer clubs. There's the Ozempic Lyon, A1C Milan, and the Real Madrid.
I think the best part about this program is the community. It's very positive. It digs into the competitive nature of men and guys when they get together, but it leverages that for a positive end.
A team working together towards a common goal of better health. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Cooper City, Florida.
We'll take a live look at traffic first this morning. We showed you at the top of the hour. We'll show you it again. Here you can see along I-49 near exit 58 in Greenland. You can see some fog, some pretty dense at points. Now, again, remember, fog forms from the top of the sky down. So I think at the surface it looks okay, but as you're looking out ahead, obviously, with all the hills in the area, again, you could see that reduced visibility. So just be careful as you're heading out the door, especially if you're in any low-lying areas like it is towards Greenland and southern Fayetteville. Here's a live look in Fort Smith. Visibility pretty clear and quiet here. You can see traffic moving along smoothly here along Rogers Avenue. Plenty of that blue sky, a little bit of thin cloud cover out there. Otherwise, starting off with mostly sunny conditions. 75 degrees currently in Fort Smith. That dew point is 73. Now, it is still muggy out there, but it's not as warm as it was yesterday morning. Yesterday morning, we had temperatures in the low 80s for Fort Smith around this time. So a little bit of a difference as you're walking out the door, and then we'll continue to see continued improvement, I should say, as we go throughout the week this week. Now, it is still going to be pretty warm, especially in the River Valley. We do have that heat advisory in effect for this afternoon and this evening. Could see that heat index as high as 108 in some spots. Now, for the Northwest Arkansas area, maybe up to 100, but it's going to be, again, a little bit cooler than it was yesterday. We'll continue to see that cooling trend as we head towards tomorrow, and then it'll stay pretty steady. So for today, as I mentioned, could feel like up to 108 in the River Valley, and then Thursday through the weekend, we'll be feeling anywhere from the upper 90s to low triple digits in the River Valley. For Northwest Arkansas, into the mid-90s, so much more manageable heat. Yeah, it's still hot, but not nearly as hot as we've been seeing, especially that 5-day stretch we just had from Friday into Tuesday. It was really, really hot. Yesterday was our highest high temperature for Fort Smith at 104. Fayetteville hit 100, so we're hoping to be done with the triple digits, especially for the heat indices after today, and we'll be pretty close to it. Dew points, that dropping humidity is the biggest change, right? Everyone talks about it's not the heat, it's the humidity. So dew points are going to be dropping. Dew points today, though, still going to be pretty high in the upper 60s and low 70s, but we'll gradually see that decrease into Sunday and the weekend. We'll see the low to mid 60s. Northwest Arkansas, some could see the upper 50s. So much more comfortable air is on the way coming this weekend. With that, we saw a lot of rain. There's a lot of moisture readily available. So with that, some areas saw quite a bit of rainfall, especially in Northwest Arkansas. We saw some areas in the Rogers region, close to 2 inches. Bentonville, though, on the edge, especially the farther northwest you go, didn't see much rain. Then along the I-40 corridor, especially in Fort Smith. The Fort Smith Airport didn't report a drop of rain. Neither did it in Poto, but you can see in Scott County, southern LaFleur County saw quite a bit of rainfall. Into Johnson County, especially the northern half, as well as the northern half of Crawford County saw quite a bit of rainfall, as well as Madison County. So basically, it was kind of feast or famine. Those that saw rain saw quite a bit. Those that didn't saw little to none. Now, right now, it's very quiet out there. Any of that rain is off to our south and to our east, but just off to our north, or I keep saying that because I'm usually used to cold fronts kind of sitting there and then stalling out. You know, this time the cold front's actually swinging through the area. It will continue to move off to the south. And you notice as you see out ahead of it, some showers and storms that are kind of organized there. We're not going to see any of that since that front's swinging through the area later this afternoon, but we will see the chance of some of those isolated storms returning. It's not going to be as widespread as it was yesterday, but can't rule out some heavy rain and gusty winds. And since the cold front is moving south of us, I'm not expecting any of that to be severe. So we head through the day today. Again, we should be quiet this morning. Then during the afternoon, it could start as early as noon, but I think the most likely time would be about 3 o'clock to about sunset. This is where you can see some of these pop-up storms. Again, you can see the red, could see some heavy rain and gusty winds with this. I think it'll be a little bit more favored towards the River Valley since it's closer to more of that energy, but Northwest Arkansas can't rule it out either. Then you can see 10 o'clock shortly after sunset, it's tapering off, and yeah, maybe see a stray shower overnight, but nothing that's going to really add up too much in the rain gauge. Then as we head towards the day tomorrow, again, we'll continue to see an very isolated rain chance, especially in the River Valley. But again, most of us, I think, stay dry for tomorrow. So for the rest of the 7-day, I should say, you're going to notice the temperatures stay about the same for Northwest Arkansas. The highs do, but again, the humidity is dropping, so it's going to feel better. Then next week, that's when the real temperature drop-off comes. You can notice Monday we're in the mid-80s, Tuesday around 80, maybe even in the upper 70s. Low temperatures are in the low 60s. The humidity drops, and not only that, we'll see rain chances return on Tuesday. So again, it's been pretty dry. We want that rain to return, especially get rid of those burn bands. So get a little bit of the best of both worlds as we head into next week.
Okay, on today's Daily Brew, first we're talking about the Eric and Lyle Menendez case, the brothers who have spent more than 30 years behind bars convicted of killing their parents back in 1989. Well, tomorrow they're going to go before a parole board hearing. Tomorrow, Thursday, will be the first one, Eric Menendez, and then Lyle on Friday. So an historic moment if this happens for the brothers.
I feel like this has been a long time coming. I mean, I think the shows really brought a lot of light to this. I know you aren't the biggest fan of the shows because it dramatizes things a little bit, but I do think it made people kind of become passionate about this case and kind of advocate for them getting this hearing that they're going to get.
I kind of feel like so, they're being changed from life in prison without parole to, the chance of parole. And this actually happened. I mean, it's really historic in the fact that social media did play a role in getting that, I guess, the message to the right people to make those decisions. And I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this happen before.
Oh, it was wild. The show Monsters, I mean, it blew up. And at the same time as that, then they released a documentary too. So then people were just so invested in the case. And what's wild is the actors in the show Monsters look just like them.
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, they casted it so well as to like what they look like, and it's kind of wild when you see that. But I do think it really made people kind of get on board. And then I think is Eric the younger one? Eric's daughter got big on social media too during all of this, because she started posting stuff and
Right.
like struggles that they'd had as a family since he had been behind bars. And so a lot of people kind of jumped on board with that too.
And I feel like, say if this happens and they get released, then what's that going to look like? Like, what kind of changes are they going to make into the world? Are they going to hold true to their word and go out there and be an advocate for prison
would hope
reform
so.
and sexual abuse survivors?
You would really hope so. I mean, I feel like they were so young when they did this,
Yeah.
right? And so you would hope that after all these years that they have changed and that they have, learned from their mistake, and that they are an advocate on speaking out, because they went through abuse for all those years without, people listening to them and without speaking out. So you hope that they can encourage others to come forward and do the same.
Right, because I mean, it's sort of twofold, right? Because I mean, these are murderers. They
But they
killed
went
their
through a
parents.
lot.
Yeah, they did. And so that was, that's the whole thing. The sexual abuse, how the internet and the world today has changed that. But are they going to do something good? Because I mean, you have cases like the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case.
All she did was go with the fame.
Right. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot of advocacy there whenever, I think that was the platform right at the beginning. So it's just going to be an historic moment to see what happens with this case, how the world's changed, and how it can change more, right?
Well, and hopefully the two of them being together, I feel like with Gypsy's case, like she was kind of alone out there. So the fame maybe got to her quicker than if you had someone there kind of holding you accountable at the same time. So we'll see. I'm curious to see what happens.
That's going to be a big one tomorrow. All right, let's switch gears here and talk about Cracker Barrel, okay? We have a couple of those around our area. You're soon going to
Have
see
you
some
ever been?
changes.
Never been to Cracker Barrel.
Okay,
They don't
Danny.
have them in Minnesota?
No.
Oh my, we're taking you there.
I should say, I don't know if they do, but if they do, I've never been.
Mama's pancake breakfast, he hasn't lived.
I was gonna say,
We're taking you.
I'll have to look. I think they're very rare though if they are in
Okay,
Minnesota.
we're gonna take you.
Okay, well, you better go fast because you're about to see some modernization of it rolling out. They're going to change the logo there. And then also in the restaurants, you're going to see sort of like a lighter look, fewer antiques.
Oh, I hate that.
I know. When you sit down, Danny, on the wall, it's just littered with antiques.
And I love it.
And
I love it. All
it's a
the
lot to
old
look at.
pictures, newspaper articles, and then the store. You can't leave without at least
Shopping.
trying to convince your parents to get you something in the store. Now, I do think an important note in this renovation: they better not get rid of the little games, the little peg games.
Oh, yeah.
I had one at home. I loved it so much, and as an only child, what else am I gonna do?
Yeah.
So
or the checkers out front, and you sat in rocking chairs and played checkers.
I was good at that game. I could get to one.
Yeah, so I did look it up. There is one in Minnesota at least. I think it was in Lakeville, which is like 40 minutes south of me. But it was tough because I was like, I'm not going to go out of my way to go to Cracker Barrel. So now they're
well,
close.
You're lost, Dave.
Now I don't have an
In
excuse.
Arkadelphia, Arkansas, that's about all we had in college, and that's where you went on your first dates.
Right, so some disappointed to see the new look, some maybe happy.
I did go on a first date to Cracker Barrel, guys. I wasn't lying
That's
about
an
that.
awesome
Did it go well?
first date.
Yeah.
This is a 5 News update.
Good morning. I'm 5 News meteorologist Danny Cassie. For today, not going to be as hot as it was yesterday, but still pretty hot nonetheless. Heat advisory is in effect for the entire River Valley for this afternoon, this evening. Could be as hot as maybe 105 to 108. For northwest Arkansas, maybe up to 100. So not in that heat advisory criteria, but pretty warm still nonetheless. Right now, it's pretty quiet out there as you head out the door. So shouldn't be too bad this morning, but pack the umbrella just in case, because as we head through the afternoon hours, no, we're not going to see as much rain as we saw yesterday, but that cold front is kind of sitting along I-40 right now. It will continue to move off to the south. You see that organized activity this morning. Again, that is staying off to our south, but as we go through the day today, you get any of that daytime heating. Still a little bit of energy left over. We could see those storms pop up later this afternoon. Also, if you're wondering what's to my left here, that big low, that cloud cover, that is Hurricane Aaron moving along the Atlantic seaboard. We'll show you what the rain chance looks like on Futurecast. Again, this morning will be quiet, and it could start, those pop-ups could start as early as noon, but the best chance is going to be around 3 o'clock to sunset. And you can see very isolated, not as widespread as it was yesterday. And it's an equal chance, I think, across the board, maybe a little bit more favored in the River Valley, close to that cold front. But again, most of it should taper off by 10 o'clock and could see some heavy rain and gusty winds, but no severe weather is expected. And then through the overnight hours, maybe a very stray shower. Otherwise, most of us stay dry. Overall for today, high temperatures will be in the low 90s in northwest Arkansas, mid to possibly upper 90s in the River Valley, a mix of sun and clouds, and then we'll have those isolated storms during the afternoon. Winds will be light out of the northeast at 5 to 10. Then after today, we'll see much more relief starting tomorrow and especially next week when highs return down to the 80s. Hey, if you're watching us over on CBS, we're streaming every morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on 5 News Plus. Streaming live, we got Joe, Tiffany, myself, Jacob Luthi, and Emily over on 5 News Plus. Catch us for the next half hour.
Five News This Morning starts now.
Well, hey, good morning. Thank you for watching 5 News This Morning Plus, streaming live on the 5 News Plus Smart TV app. I'm Tiffany Lee.
I'm Joe Ellison. This morning, we're hearing from an Arkansas man who was at a Bahamas resort where 2 cruise passengers drowned. And Fayetteville Public Library bringing back their beehive. We'll have more on what's got the community buzzing ahead.
And a live look outside in Fayetteville this morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. It's looking good. 70s to start off with, much improved from yesterday in the 80s.
Was that like a little, do you see that, a little bug in front of the camera?
Maybe.
Hope it wasn't a mosquito.
I mean, they love the moisture, Joe. They love the moisture around here, and so they're always running random.
Guys, messed up. The door cracked in my house last night, flew open with the rain when we went to dinner, and there were bugs.
Ooh.
everywhere.
You
And
probably
water.
got spiders, a little bit of mosquitoes coming
Should've
in.
seen me with that fly swatter going around.
I can't use a fly swatter at home because my Dobermans will like run, like split and hide. I don't know why. They're scared of someone whacking flies with flies. I don't know.
Well, you know what helped get rid of the bugs would be a freeze.
Yeah, can we have that?
Not quite. I want it. I don't know if Tiffany will want it, but
I don't.
want
My
it.
favorite part of winter is snow bugs, though.
Yeah, that is true. Well, we're a little bit far away from that, but relief is on the way here pretty soon. Today, though, here's a live look out in Poto, 72 degrees. Dew point is 70, so yeah, it is still a little bit muggy out there. Some areas also seeing, especially in low-lying spots that saw rain yesterday, is seeing a little bit of fog, so just be mindful of that as you head out the door. In the River Valley, though, including Poto, many areas didn't see much rain, especially kind of near the I-40 corridor and south, so I think we're a little bit more quiet there, but in northwest Arkansas, especially where we saw quite a bit of rain, could be a little bit of low-lying fog. And some of that is showing up on satellite. You're noticing that kind of band starting to develop here. That's some of that low-lying fog. So again, especially if you're in southern Washington County or northern Crawford County, just be mindful. Could be a little bit of fog as you head out the door. Otherwise, for those still heading out to the bus stop, temperatures will be in the 70s. Not as warm, but still pretty muggy. By recess or lunchtime, we're heating up. We'll see those temperatures around 90 degrees, maybe in the upper 80s in northwest Arkansas. Then as we're heading home, those temperatures are going to be in the 90s area-wide. Some pop-up storm possible starting around especially 3 o'clock through sunset, but could start as early as noon. Now, the feels like, again, not as hot as yesterday, but still approaching 100 in northwest Arkansas. By noon in the mid-90s there. And again, as we head towards later in the evening, still feeling close to 90 degrees around sunset. For the River Valley, we'll approach 105, some areas maybe as high as 108. And you notice a little bit of a dip during the afternoon. This is because of rain chance starting to pick up. So if we see any of that, that'll help cool us off. Unfortunately, for some of the River Valley, especially in Fort Smith, didn't see any rainfall, especially on the south side of town. So that's where we saw that temperature get all the way up to 104. So the overall outlook for today, and storm chances will pick up during the afternoon and evening. We'll have a light northeast wind. High temperatures northwest Arkansas will be in the low 90s. Then for the River Valley, we'll see those temperatures in the mid to possibly upper 90s with that northeast wind. We'll have those storm chances as we go through the afternoon and evening. Now after today, rain chances remain pretty minimal, especially after tomorrow, and we'll see dropping humidity, dropping temperatures starting next week that'll feel a little bit like fall. So we'll talk all about that here coming up in your full forecast. For now, we'll take a live look at traffic on this Wednesday morning. Take a live look along I-49 near the Little Flock area, so you can see a little bit of that fog, and most of it is elevated. However, again, as you look off in the distance, obviously it's going to impact visibility a little bit, so just be mindful of that as you're heading out the door this morning. Otherwise, we'll see some sunshine and maybe pack that umbrella for the rain chance later today. We'll talk more about that coming up in your full forecast. Joe and Tiffany.
All right, thanks for that, Danny. Well, a local man was on vacation when he tried to help one of 2 American cruise passengers who drowned in the Bahamas.
5 News reporter Lauren Spencer spoke with the man from Tawnytown.
We love it. It's a time to get away. It's a lot of fun. You can relax on a cruise.
John Kopta of Tawnytown was vacationing with his wife when he witnessed the unthinkable.
I think for me, I'm a dad, you know, and a grandpa, and once the adrenaline kicks in, you're not thinking anything.
Kopta says he noticed something was wrong as there was a snorkeler at the bottom of the shallow ocean not moving. He and another bystander immediately went to help, but it was too late.
I was, oh my God, my wife and I hopped off and I ran over there about the same time he got there, and we went down. He grabbed him by the arms, brought him up. I grabbed his legs, brought him up, and he was lifeless at that point.
He watched as lifeguards and emergency crews tried as hard as they could to save the 79-year-old man.
I thought you guys responded in adequate time. I mean, at one point there was 10 lifeguards surrounding, you know, making a perimeter, and the other ones were working on him, and the EMTs came with the sirens on the ATVs on the sand, and I thought they did everything they could.
2.5 hours later, a 74-year-old was found unresponsive. The initial police report says she lost consciousness while swimming in a pool at the resort. And as the reality of what happened set in, Kopta said all he could do was pray.
My wife and I both have looked at each other. Did we miss something? Did we not hear something? And I don't think there was. I don't think there was anything that he did that showed that he was drowning. I just want the family to know, you know, our condolences, and if there's anything we need to answer for the family, we will do that.
Covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Officials at Carnival say that they're providing support to the victims' families. Well, a local community member known for her care for animals is being remembered. Marcia Donnelly was killed Friday in a car crash in Prairie Grove. She founded both Spay Arkansas and the Northwest Arkansas Community Cat Project, which helps stray and feral cats. Spay Arkansas said that since 2011, the organization has been able to perform 80,000 surgeries. They credit Marcia's courage and faith, and colleagues from the NWA Cat Project say her work impacted many lives.
Both human and animal, of course. She made a huge difference in the area. If there was a cat in need or if there was a person in need, she would do what she could to help them, to support them.
All right, well, it is West Nile season and cases are increasing across the country and the region.
5 News reporter Emily Moss is joining us in studio with the latest. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Joe and Tiffany. Right now, there are less than 5 reported cases of West Nile in Arkansas. However, the state health department says on average they see around 20 cases. So this season is really just getting started. West Nile is mosquito transmitted and causes symptoms similar to the flu in most people who have symptoms. State veterinarian Laura Rothfeld says a majority of those infected do not have any symptoms. Although the state is reporting few cases now, Dr. Rothfeld says that number could not always be that accurate. So it's important to stay vigilant.
So I do think that there's probably an underrepresentation in our case counts as far as, the actual cases that we have, because either the person wasn't ill enough to seek medical treatment or, they did, but then there just wasn't this test result that then gets reported to us. And then they recovered.
Well, what's some of those symptoms that we need to look out for?
So they are very flu-like, so body aches, fevers, cough, colds, those kind of things. It's probably not going to feel any more severe than a cold or flu really would be, because Dr. Rothfeld told me that only 20% of people who get infected actually would show symptoms, and then an even smaller percentage would show any severe symptoms.
Gotcha.
So what's the best way to protect yourself from West Nile?
So obviously it's just getting rid of the mosquitoes. The mosquitoes can breed in like a bottle cap size of water. So getting rid of any standing water outside or even inside. If you have like plants going into your breezeway or something, don't leave water there because mosquitoes can come in. They're most active during dusk and dawn, so making sure you're wearing long sleeves, even though it's really hard with the heat right now, so you're not getting hit. And then also using bug spray, insecticides. Keep one at the door just like you would with sun spray.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thanks for that, Emily.
Well, speaking of, vets are warning pet owners about a tick-borne illness that could pose a threat to dogs and people. A disease called anaplasmosis is spread by black-legged ticks, the same ones that carry Lyme disease. Infected dogs may develop fever, fatigue, vomiting, or even seizures. Doctors say it's treatable with antibiotics when caught early.
So another local news, Fort Smith City directors decided they need more time to decide the future of 3 historic cemeteries. As 5 News reporter Bo Russell has more on what city leaders are considering.
I'm standing in Holy Cross Cemetery. It's one of 3 owned by Fort Smith Cemeteries, Inc., but previous management has put the nonprofit in a bind. According to Ed Ralston, Fort Smith Cemeteries, Inc. owes more than $600,000 in loans. That's not including the nearly $100,000 they owe as a result of city liens. In July, the nonprofit addressed the Fort Smith Board of Directors and proposed 3 actions the city could take to address the overgrown cemeteries, something they say they are no longer capable of doing. Josh Bufink with the city of Fort Smith says they are currently considering 2 of these options.
Option A, which is to continue what we're currently doing with liens that have been unpaid for the past several years, or us acquiring these properties and taking over all the maintenance of those properties.
In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, I'm Bo Russell, 5 News.
Well, still ahead, the NWA Naturals are working to assist those impacted by deadly flooding in Texas. We'll have more on a planned fundraiser. But first, the live look over Fort Smith this morning at 7:38 here on 5 News Plus this morning. We'll be right back. Well, hey, welcome back with features including a recording studio, working spaces, and even a fully equipped teaching kitchen. The Fayetteville Public Library is known for more than its books, but one feature that's been missing is coming back. 5 News' Laura Castleman explains.
I'm here at the Fayetteville Public Library rooftop where hundreds of bees used to thrive before a fire last year had them moved to a sanctuary. Now residents are buzzing with the news that the Fayetteville Public Library is bringing the bees back home.
When we had the beehive in the windows and the bees outside, people would just come and just be fascinated by watching the bees work within the hive and see them coming and going.
David Johnson is the executive director of the Fayetteville Public Library.
It was an expensive fire, about $1 million, and there were questions around should we bring the bees back and what would change in order to make that happen.
Johnson says a new smoker device to calm the bees will be used, one he says is safer for beekeeping.
Ed Levi, the beekeeper, came and described how he will no longer be bringing a charcoal smoker pot that is used to cover the pheromones of the bees, that there's a new device that he's going to use that he bought out of Europe.
After the fire, I immediately went out and bought a $300 smoker that actually uses vapor and electricity. There's no fire involved.
Ed Levi is a retired commercial beekeeper. He took care of the bees when they were located at the Fayetteville Public Library. Levi says bees play a vital role in pollination, contributing to 1/3 of the food humans eat.
4,000 species of bees in America, and they all compete for similar things. But honeybees are specialized. They don't go from one type of flower to another type of flower like most pollinators do. One colony will concentrate on one type of flower, which means it's better for the plants because they can cross-pollinate within that breed of plants.
The bees not only serve as educational purposes, but the honey they created was used in the deli.
Ed would come and teach classes about the basics of apiary and how beekeeping takes place. He would demonstrate how he would change the queens out, but we'd also take the hives out and take the honeycomb down, and he would show people in our kitchen how to spin the honey and extract the honey. Bee population across the United States and in Arkansas in particular is on the decline, so we need to raise awareness and educate people about why we should care for the bees, why we should create environments where people can raise bees and sort of restore their populations.
And the bees will come back at no cost to the Fayetteville community.
There shouldn't be any cost to the taxpayer, any cost to the patrons. It's going to just be free for everybody, like everything at the library. I truly, believe that people will again be fascinated by, let's go to the library and watch the bees.
It will take some time for the bees to come back home. The Fayetteville Public Library director says during the summer, the population is too dense to move. So library goers can expect to see the bees back in April or May. In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Laura Castleman, 5 News.
Well, thank you, Laura. Here's a live look at traffic this morning in the Fort Smith area. Live look along I-540 at Grand Avenue. You can see traffic moving smoothly so far on this Wednesday. Seeing plenty of that blue sky. A little bit of thin cloud cover out there. Otherwise, not too shabby. Here's a live look in Fayetteville. You can see a little bit more cloud cover here. We're seeing more of that thin cloud cover. Currently, though, traffic moving smoothly along the I-49 Highway 71B interchange. Currently in Fayetteville, so you're seeing this little bit of wavy lines. It looks like something out of maybe a futuristic movie. That's the sign for fog. And at the airport there on the southern end of the city in Drake Field, they are reporting some fog pretty dense at 0 miles. But you notice right here, it's not too shabby. But again, in that south end in southern Washington County, I'd be mindful, especially if you saw rain last night, we could see some fog as you walk out the door. Now, yesterday was a scorcher, no doubt about it. High temperatures in northwest Arkansas yesterday were in the upper 90s there in Bentonville, Rogers, and Huntsville. It hit 100 at Drake Field, and you can see nearly area-wide triple digits in the River Valley. Sallisaw just falling short at 99. Fort Smith at 104 was the hottest day for high temperatures of the year, although if heat index, you could argue that it wasn't because it didn't even reach 110. We've seen some hit 110 or 111. So where does that rack up on the year for 100-degree days? Well, again, on average, we usually see about 9 in the River Valley or at Fort Smith, 1 at Northwest Arkansas or Fayetteville. And so we're seeing 2 so far this year for Northwest Arkansas. Both were exactly 100. And in the River Valley, we've seen 8. So we're right around normal, and hopefully these will be the last 100-degree days we see. Today, I think we'll fall just short in Fort Smith, Northwest Arkansas. We will not hit 100, and it looks like, at least for the time being, we won't see 100 for the rest of the month, but maybe I'll knock on some wood here. Hopefully this wall is wood, but we'll see what happens. In terms of the heat advisory that is in effect for us this afternoon, it is for the entire River Valley. It'll feel like over 100 once again. See anywhere from 105 to 108 in northwest Arkansas, feel maybe up to 100. Now that's if the cold front continues to kind of slowly move. Some of our northern areas, especially northern Crawford and Franklin County, might not feel up to 105 because that cold front is moving through the area as we speak. But no matter what, it is going to be pretty warm today. Then for tomorrow through the rest of the week, it is going to feel pretty nice, relatively speaking. It is still going to be pretty warm, but that feels like it'll be more around 100 for the peak heat index in the River Valley. And then for northwest Arkansas, it'll be more in the mid 90s. So much more manageable heat than the 105, 110 we've been seeing really over the past week or so. Those dew points will also be helping us out as they're going to be dropping throughout the next 5 days. Today, still going to be muggy, upper 60s and low 70s. Still going to feel kind of soupy out there, but we see that gradual decrease from the upper 60s down in the lower 60s, and some on Sunday and especially on Monday could be into the upper 50s. Well, I don't think I've said that maybe the entire time I've been here. Remember that, pale fella that was on severe weather that first day, May 19th? Yeah, since I've been here, I don't think we've seen the upper 50s for dew points, so we would definitely take that. Now, right now, things are pretty quiet. A little bit of thin cloud cover out there, especially kind of in the central portion of the region. Some of that rain is moving off to the south and to the east. And as we speak, as I mentioned, that cold front is currently kind of sitting along I-40. You notice right out ahead of it there, you're seeing some of those storms kind of out ahead of it. So that organized activity, that's going to continue to move off to the south. So I think for today, since that cold front will move south of us, we're not seeing any of the lift of that, that mechanism usually for more organized storms. So we're not going to see as widespread as we saw yesterday. We definitely still could see some showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder later this afternoon. Could contain some heavy rain and gusty winds, but severe weather is not expected. So as we go through the rest of this morning, we should stay dry. Then by the afternoon, again around noon, we still could see it as early as noon, but the better chance will be more about 3 o'clock. It's about sunset. You can see, again, very much isolated compared to yesterday. Still could see it, though, area-wide. Maybe a little bit of a better chance. The River Valley, and you see those dark reds, so maybe some heavier rain. Again, gusty winds are possible. As we head through the overnight hours, very, very stray shower possible. Otherwise, we're quiet. During the morning hours tomorrow, might wake up to a light sprinkle or two in the River Valley. Otherwise, during the afternoon, again, it picks up a little bit, but again, very, very isolated. I think northwest Arkansas will be mainly dry. Then that will quiet out for Thursday night, and then we'll have a very quiet next few days to wrap up the work week. Overall for today, high temperatures will be in the low 90s in northwest Arkansas, mid to upper 90s in the River Valley. Have a light northeast wind at 5 to 10, kind of fueling some of that, or I should say funneling in some of that dry air eventually. Then as you notice through the rest of the 7-day forecast, Friday and Saturday, very quiet, mostly sunny. Sunday, maybe a stray shower chance, but I think the better chance will be especially Monday night into Tuesday as the cold front swings through. And you notice storm chances will increase, so we need that rainfall because some of those areas are now under abnormally dry conditions. Some burn bans are in place. So if you didn't see any rain yesterday, we'll have another chance today and then next week. It does look like, again, those temperatures, look at that, highs in the 80s. Very welcome change for us. It looks like we'll be kind of in that low to mid 80s range for all of next week. So we have that to look forward to as the sports or that football season starting. And on more on that, we'll have Sports Director Alex Stewart and Robert Hearn, your morning sports report.
5 News coverage of the Razorbacks is sponsored by Arvest Bank.
Boy, we wouldn't have thought it to start the offseason, but the Arkansas football team has a pretty stacked running back room for the 2025 season. That's not me telling you. That's coming straight from Bobby P. himself. And when you hear that man say it's going to be fun to call plays, be scared if you're an opponent. Very, very scared. But let's bring it back home for a little bit and take a deeper look at the running back room. For that, I'll turn it over to Robin Hearn.
In the second scrimmage of fall camp, offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino said overall the offense looked a lot better. From the quarterbacks to the pass protection, this team is starting to come together with the start of the season just a few weeks away. Now the running backs is where Petrino says he has seen some of the most growth so far in fall camp. Petrino mentioned today how adding senior transfer Mike Washington has been a positive effect on the others in the running back room. For example, with Washington's leadership and experience, Petrino has noticed how sophomore Braylon Russell has been practicing harder and redshirt junior Rodney Hill is becoming a bigger threat, especially with his option routes. As for Russell, Petrino has been impressed with how his football IQ has progressed since his freshman year.
Understands offense. He's been, last year as a true freshman, you come in and you don't really realize how much you play into pass protection. And, in high school, he probably didn't have to do it a whole lot, but he's taken it very, very seriously. He understands now how to use that big body and his strength because he's a very explosive guy.
Arkansas hits the field at Razorback Stadium on August 30th at 3:15 as they take on Alabama A&M to open up the 2025 season. In Fayetteville, Robin Hearn, 5 News Sports.
Thank you, Robin. And good news for that running back room. One of the big men in front of him, Fernando Carmona, was just named preseason first team All-SEC today. That came along with Cam Ball on the other side of the ball being third team. Now, the Razorbacks in total will hit the field for the first time in just 10 short days. We are almost there, folks. But for now, that's going to be it for your sports. Have yourselves a great day.
In other sports news, the Northwest Arkansas Naturals and the Texas League announcing a new fundraiser which supports the relief efforts in the devastating floods in Kerr County, Texas in early July. On September 5th, the Naturals will auction off some game-worn jerseys and donate their half of a 50-50 raffle prize. Money will help support the Little League in Kerr County and help rebuild local baseball fields.
Get your butt inside, because it's time for supper.
All right, coming up, you've heard of dog calling and hog calling, but up next, an Iowa tradition at the state fair, husband calling. We'll have a live look outside in Johnson this morning. Good morning to you there. We'll be right back.
This is a 5 News Update.
Good morning. I'm 5 News meteorologist Danny Cassidy. For those in the Northwest Arkansas area, especially where it rained, we're seeing a little bit of fog start to develop. Here's a live look atop the station cam. You can see most of it is elevated, but again, still could see some dense fog at times, especially as you're heading out on the roadways and in any low-lying areas. So just be mindful of that as you're heading out the door. Those in the River Valley, mainly along the I-40 corridor, are okay, but those where it rained, especially in southern LaFleur County and Scott County, as well as northern Crawford and Franklin County, maybe you could see a little bit of that fog as well. Otherwise, the main story for today is still going to be pretty hot, not as hot as yesterday, but still still pretty hot nonetheless. Heat advisory in effect for the entire River Valley for that heat index anywhere from 105 to 108 later this afternoon and this evening. Right now, things are pretty quiet, minus a little bit of that fog, and that'll thin out over the next couple of hours. Any of that rain from last night is moving off to the south and to the east, and overall, that cold front is basically starting to swing through the area and will continue to move south. See all these blue arrows? Some drier air is starting to move in. Not necessarily cooler air, but drier air that'll help make it feel cooler, and eventually a second cold front next week will help it feel a whole lot better around here. Now, with that moving in or moving through, we're not going to see any of the organized activity we saw yesterday, but still could see some isolated storms later this afternoon. We'll show you that here on Futurecast. You notice through about noon, we should be quiet, but by noon, we still could see some of those pop-ups arrive. It's not going to be very widespread, but they still could arrive. The best chance, though, will be about 3 p.m. to sunset. You notice, could see some heavy rain and gusty winds. The cold front moves south, so not expecting anything severe, but still could see a little bit of activity later this afternoon, this evening. We'll be mainly quiet overnight, then maybe a couple of stray showers through the day tomorrow. Overall for today, high temperatures, again, a little bit lower, low to mid-90s northwest Arkansas, mid to upper 90s in the River Valley with that spotty storm chance, especially during the afternoon hours. So, again, be safe out there. Make sure to have the umbrella handy just in case, and maybe an extra water bottle for the heat. Otherwise, have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Jason!
Okay, the Iowa State Fair full competition ensuing. None is quite as staple as a husband calling event. The State Fair also hosts a mom calling contest. So these guys doing fantastic.
Yeah, I know that I do not call my husband in any of those ways.
I mean,
I think they added some drama to it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like I should start calling my husband in these ways.
Maybe they pay attention if we did that,
Put your
right?
foot down.
Right.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. Well, you're from the Iowa, or you've been living in the Iowa area there. What do you think about this?
Have you seen this
Of course. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it in person, but it's every year it's a staple. It's brought up. There actually was, I don't know if she won this year, but there's one woman who's won like year after year. She's just that good at calling her husband. I don't know. I don't remember, but yeah, it's a staple, and they do mom calling competitions too. It's just funny to just like stand there and like watch.
One year.
I don't think I would be that good at it. I don't have a yelling voice, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, but it'd be fun.
I can nail that.
I think you could nail it. I think you guys would have fun with it.
Can we do a joint one?
There we go. Yeah, do it all together.
Do a 5 News husband calling competition.
There we go.
I think so. They'd love that. They'd love that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what words I would use without being offensive.
I feel like I'm just always like, French.
Yeah.
Well, you have to call, you guys like call pigs. You have to call them like that. It's supposed to be from like calling livestock, but you're calling your husband back.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
To come up with something good.
I believe in you guys.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us here on 5 News This Morning, plus on the Smart TV app. Join us back here tomorrow starting at 7 a.m. Have a great day.